It's time for the best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Chad Erickson. Good to have you with us on this Tuesday edition of the show. We got a lot to do over the next 60 minutes. I have decided in recent weeks to make Tuesdays just about Sam and I because we have guests on throughout the week. And Tuesday's kind of the day to take a breath and catch up because the weekend is so nuts. So Sam and I will be bouncing things around today for the duration of the show. And there's a lot to talk about, Sam. The Bills have lost 2 straight. Is there panic in the Bills Mafia, Sam Yarnell? I want to talk about that. But first, let's get into the actual highlights from the game where the Bills fall in Atlanta to the Falcons, and the Falcons just run the football all over them all night with Bijan Robinson. And, look, I understand the Bills have injuries. Here's the thing. Everybody has injuries. Everybody's missing players. And if we're going to sit here and praise the 49ers to the high heavens for what they've been able to do without the litany of guys that they're missing, is it fair to just say, the injury bug is the reason why the Bills have lost 2 straight games, Sam Yarnell? I want to get your thoughts on the Bills after dropping their 2nd straight.
Yeah, well, first you mentioned my beloved 49ers, who I wasn't here yesterday, obviously, but the Fred Warner injury.
Crushing.
What can't go wrong with that team?
Really?
The Bills. This is going to sound crazy. It is. And you can call me crazy, maybe. Maybe you will. In that game last night, I felt better about the Bills than maybe I had all season outside of the New York Jets game. And actually, they didn't look great in the Jets game. I said this to someone last night when I was talking about it. You're telling me that the glaring hole in this team right now, if you watched 95% of that game, right, is the unit that's led by the reigning MVP, who's also the favorite in the odds to win the MVP again this year? Yeah, I'll take that as long as the special teams and the defense are playing as well as they did yesterday. And quite frankly, in the game before against New England for the last 3 quarters, that first quarter of that game against New England.
You're not concerned about the rushing defense?
No. I think that Bijan Robinson had 20 yards in the second half, and I think if you made the
concern. It was clear what they were going to do in the second half. They were going to stuff the box and say, "All right, Michael Penix, you go beat us," and see if you could find anybody after your first read, which you usually can't.
If you take out the one explosive run he had, which was a couple of broken tackles and Bijan Robinson being the freak athlete that we know that he is, right? If you take out the 180-yard run that he had, I think the guy averaged less than 3 yards a carry. It was not an I shouldn't say that. It was not an efficient running night for Bijan Robinson. It was very effective, and obviously
he did
it's one of the reasons they won the game.
He did things in the receiving game, too.
But when you can limit efficiency, that's what will win you championships in the long run. So again, the concerns that you had early on, especially coming out of week 1 about the Bills defense, which was the questionable unit of this team, ironically, have seemed to subside a little. And I think anyone can trust Josh Allen to figure it out offensively. I don't think that will ever be a concern in terms of the Bills' offensive production.
They're asking a lot of them, Sam. They're asking a lot of them. They're asking a lot of them. And it is a 17-game season, and maybe that is the silver lining in this cloud, is the fact that it's a 17-game season. Everybody in this league has their warts, including the Bills. And we're talking about, a long season where when you are asking so much of your franchise MVP quarterback, doesn't that sound great, by the way? When you're asking so much, there's going to be weeks where they simply, I don't want to say crumble under the load, but it's just too much. And this might have been one of those nights.
I guess I think that the asking too much statement is a little bit case by case, because yes, if the Bills were asking arbitrarily Jackson Dart to do what Josh Allen is doing, yes, it would be horrible. It would not go well. But asking Josh Allen to do what he's doing, he proved to you through a 17-game season and a 3-game postseason last year that he's comfortable doing that, and that it's not necessarily asking too much of him, and that team can average 30 points a game with essentially those exact same weapons.
But asking it every year after year, just like Saquon last year is a monster year, and then you're expecting, oh, he's going to come back this year, and it hasn't worked out exactly the same way. I just wonder. Again, I don't think it's something that is indicative of what's going to happen the entire season. I think it's more, it's easier to make the excuse that there will be a week here and there where it's too much. But I want to get your thoughts on something that was asked of Allen after the game. You could speak Bills Mafia East a little better than me. Josh Allen asked after the game about, how much the receiving core and, how much that is sort of playing into what's happening right now, or what happened in this game with the offense. Listen to what Josh Allen said in response.
I mean, you can beat man-to-man with a perfectly thrown ball and a well-thrown ball, and, we got to take advantage of those opportunities. I got to be better. Protections, IDs, movement in the pocket, it's got to be better.
I don't hear any frustration in his voice, Sam.
I mean, there's definitely disappointment there.
But it's not Tua Tagovailoa frustration.
Sure, yes, there's not the dramatics, but again, that's just like a person-to-person kind of basis, right? Josh Allen has, and is, in my opinion, one of the least given credit for, one of the most monotone quarterbacks in the NFL. When he is performing like an MVP and having 400 total yards in a game, he is using that same tone of voice as when he throws 2 interceptions and his team loses to a middling NFC team on the road, right? I think that's what makes him so successful in an offense where, as he was talking about in the answer, right, he is, and as we've been talking about during the segment, he is the offense, right? Not every NFL offense can say that their quarterback is the offense. The Buffalo Bills understand that their quarterback is the offense, and having someone remain that cool, calm, collected, monotone through an entire season, that's exactly what you got to want with an entire city on his shoulders.
It's funny you call the Falcons meddling. They have the same number of losses as the Buffalo Bills do. And that just speaks volumes to something I want to talk about a little later on, which is just the parity in this league right now. And why I think this trade deadline is going to be bonkers. Because it's like baseball. Just win and get in. Just win and you have a shot. That's what it feels like. There might be favorites because Vegas has to make somebody a favorite, but nobody feels like a favorite right now. We're coming back. Coming up in 10 minutes, we're back to the NFL. There was another Monday Night Football game. Is it the turning point for the Bears, not just in the season, but as a franchise? I think it might be. We'll get into that coming up in 10 minutes. Sam Yarnell, let's talk some baseball. ALCS, NLCS. We'll start in the American League, and I don't know. Might have seen the last game of the season in Toronto for our fans watching us on Game Plus up there in Canada. You might have watched your final game of the season. Man, isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing, Susan? Isn't it amazing just how quickly these things turn? I mean, here was Toronto. And it's just making me wonder. I hate to make this about the Yankees, but I will for a second. It makes me wonder if it was about the Yankees. If it was just the Yankees stunk so bad that the Blue Jays ran over them, or if this is about the Mariners. I'd like to think it's about the Mariners. I'm going to try and convince myself it's about the Mariners just to make myself feel better. But, boy, what Seattle has done in these first 2 games coming off, everybody was like, oh, my God, how are they going to come off that 15-inning Game 5, and here we go back to Seattle with this a 2-0 series. But, Sam, here's what I will say for Toronto. They're going to Seattle, where the Mariners have been unable to score runs in this postseason, where these games are going to be low scoring, and I think it's just going to come down to, I hate to say it, whereas these first 2 games, not as much. I think these games in Seattle are going to be ultra competitive. I think you're talking, take the under 3-2, 2-1 sort of games, because that's the way that ballpark seems to play. And you just got to hope you get enough out of this Blue Jays bullpen, which looks beleaguered right now.
Yeah, and Jason, I'm looking at it. The Mariners are by no means unbeatable at home. To your point, right? Like, I think as much as a lot of people are talking about, this series is over and the Blue Jays they're done. The Mariners have won exactly 2 games at home this playoffs. I think their record is 2-2 at home. This is a team that is built to win on the road, whatever it is. Maybe it's the ragtag bunch or the, team being half assembled at the trade deadline. They're not used to playing in front of the pressure of that Seattle baseball market. So, yeah, this is very interesting. I am not as ready as seemingly everybody else is to write off the Toronto Blue Jays in this series. And listen, I know it takes a lot. You mentioned it, right? Coming off of the 15-inning game and then George Kirby on 4 days rest instead of 5 to get that start after the 15-inning game. It is really impressive what this Mariners pitching staff, which has been what they've hung their hat on all season, has done in these playoffs. That said, I'm not ready to say that this Vladimir Guerrero Jr. led Toronto Blue Jays offense is just going to go quietly. I mean, we know what George Springer can do in the postseason. He showed you it already in this series. If the Blue Jays can just stop giving up a bunch of runs, they're going to find themselves in one of these games.
They're gonna, yeah. I mean, look, they were technically in game 1. It just, the offense just wasn't there. And, you sort of look at what this Seattle team is doing from a pitching standpoint, though. And the one consistent thing really through this postseason has been how good this Seattle pitching has been. I think sans one game against the Tigers, they've been really good. And it's not just the starter. It's 1 through 13 if there's that many pitchers. It's basically been everybody that they bring out of that bullpen. Has really shined, Sam. And I mean, look, I think Seattle's going to win the series. Oh, wow. Revelation. They're up 2-0 after winning the first 2 on the road. I know that's a bold prediction I'm making here. And I haven't even looked at the odds on what they are to win the series. Do we have that? Can we look up real quick?
Yeah, they're minus, I have it right here.
Where are they to win the series? Let me look here.
The minus 600.
ALCS. Wow. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I can't justify even plus 450 on the Blue Jays. I can't justify it. I can't do it. What's the Brewers? Wow, the Dodgers are minus 460, which we'll get to here in just a moment. But I mean, look, I don't think the Blue Jays are dead by any stretch. But talk to me on Thursday morning. I might have a different perspective on it. Dodgers beat the Phillies despite Dave Roberts' best efforts to make sure they don't beat the Phillies. Brewers. Yeah, I still got the Phillies in my brain. Sam, boy, oh boy. Look, Dave Roberts has made some questionable decisions in this postseason. And I feel like it's just a matter of time before one of them really comes back to bite him. Last night, it almost happened. How you're not letting Snell at least go out to start the 9th inning when he's thrown 8 innings of 10 strikeout, 1 hit ball. And the inning that he leaves on the high note, he didn't even throw a fastball in the 8th inning. And he retired the side in order. I don't know what Dave Roberts was thinking. Again, to me, it's just overthinking it. And still the Dodgers are up 1-0, despite the fact that they really only got one big swing of the bat in this game, and that was Freddie Freeman. I still like the Brewers in this series. Not to win the series, but I still like this thing to go deep.
I don't.
Oh my God, you're off. That's it.
No, yeah. What do you mean I'm off? The Dodgers are the best team in baseball. I've been saying this for a year. I mean, this is crazy. Everybody seems to be selling their Dodgers stock. I don't get it. This is greatness. We are watching greatness on a baseball field, and them winning that game last night despite not sending Snell out, which, we can question.
You don't question it? Wait a minute.
It overcomes poor managerial decisions. That's how great this baseball team is.
But you don't question it?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
We can question it, right? I think it is a questionable decision, right? I am maybe one to hear both sides more, right? Like he's at 103 pitches. How many times this season did Blake Snell go over 100 pitches? So I think there's more of a hear both sides thing, but I totally questioned it, especially in the moment, especially when you're giving the ball to a rookie. Right? Yeah, I 100% think that there was an argument to be made for it. But that's the thing. This team is so good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're throwing out a rookie and he gives up a run to bring it within one run, because they got a wily veteran who's been here and done this a couple of times before, who will come in and get the job done ultimately. This team, we are watching historically good baseball in the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they've only lost one game this entire postseason. Like, I'm just appreciative that we get to sit back and enjoy.
It was a fantastic game, and the Brewers certainly had their opportunities, and they're going to regret not getting that one last night, because that was the one they could have stolen and certainly installed some doubt in the minds, even more so of Sasaki and this Dodgers team, which just keeps finding ways to win games despite the fact that it hasn't been particularly pretty in this postseason. We're coming back with some NFL. Don't go anywhere. We proceed on this Tuesday. By the way, Cameron Maben slated to be on the show tomorrow, World Series champ, former MLB outfielder. I said slated to be on the show. It's like the asterisk in the corner when you used to go to wrestling matches when you were a kid and it says card subject to change. You never know. Sam Yarnell, let's talk some more football. And there was a second Monday Night Football. They have got to stop doing this, by the way. Especially with I keep saying this, with the baseball playoffs going, I can't watch everything. And I won't pretend that I'm watching every minute of everything, because I'd be lying to you, because it's not possible to have such a keen eye and watch everything all at once. I'm watching baseball, I'm watching one Monday night game, then I got to watch the other. It's too much. It is simply too much. And they're doing it again next week, right? We have another Monday night doubleheader next week? I think so. Maybe?
Yeah, I think there's one more this season, and I think it's next week.
Make it stop. Please make it stop.
Buy YouTube TV, dude.
I am not going back. I'm not going back
night.
to YouTube.
I mean, I got last night. It was last night. I had Bills, Falcons. I had Commanders, Bears, and I had the NLCS or the ALCS all on the same TV at the same time. I mean, you can't get anything better, and no free ads. I mean, but check your service providers to see if they'll do that for you, I guess.
I guess Xfinity also is doing a split screen experience now, where you could actually start watching things. I don't know if it's as extensive and robust as what YouTube TV has, but I think Xfinity is doing it as well. My cable provider, who I'm not going to promote here on the show because they don't pay me, is not doing any such thing. So I'm not giving them any love. But it's so hard to keep tabs on everything. So anyway, this is a game last night that the Chicago Bears for the last decade have lost. This exact kind of game is the kind of game they have lost. And I know today when you open up the standings on, whatever website you go and look at standings, or on your phone, if you go look at the NFL standings, it's going to say the Chicago Bears are in last place. This does not feel like a last place team right now after winning 3 games in a row and finding a way on the road, Sam, in a spot where they have time and time again figured out a way to lose these games, figuring out a way instead to win. And the irony, if you will, of Jake Moody, who was cut loose by the Niners because he couldn't make anything, because he was kicking it like me in a YouTube video. By the way, if you ever want to find it, go and look at it. It's not pretty. And finding a way to win this game. And, Caleb Williams making plays late in this game to get them in a position, and DeAndre Swift and all these guys. That's a huge win for that franchise. And I don't think that's overstating it, Sam.
It's okay. I'm really sorry. I'm going to break the hearts of a lot of Bears fans, because there are a lot of Bears fans who are waking up with that exact mindset this morning. We lose that game 10 times out of 10 in the last 40 years. Oh my, I got news for you. You didn't win that game. The Commanders lost that game, and the Bears got as lucky as you will see a football team get lucky. And I'm not just talking about the fumble, right? Go the drive before
But
the
it's
fumble.
the Bears that usually make that play in that spot.
Sure, but they didn't play. Sure, they didn't get unlucky. Woohoo! The Bears didn't get unlucky for once. They didn't play a good football game. This is a team that had again, the drive before the fumble. This is a team that had just scored a touchdown, had all the momentum, was driving down the field, stalled out, punted the football away, essentially losing the game until Washington literally hands you the football back. Let's talk about the drives before that. At the beginning of the fourth quarter, when they're down by 2 scores and they get a lucky touchdown on a 3rd and long because Washington completely blows coverage and forgets to cover the running back after he blocks for a 1.5 seconds out of the backfield. Like, there were so many mistakes that Washington made to kill themselves in that game. And yes, the Bears won, and the NFC North has a ton of wins, and compare it to the AFC North, and it's really hilarious. But it's not like the Chicago Bears are all of a sudden world beaters.
Nobody's world beaters.
Like,
but here's the problem,
Sam.
Sam, nobody is world beaters. Nobody is a world beater in this league right now. So that can't be the standard. And I've got a number for you. There it is. You know what that is? That's a 0. No turnovers on the road. You're going to have a chance to win in the NFL when you don't turn the football over. And again, I'm not talking about being world beaters. I'm just talking about being a team that has a shot to win and actually figuring out a way to win instead of a way to lose. And that is a shift. That is a shift for a franchise that has consistently found ways to lose football games. That's my point. I'm not saying they're world beaters. I'm not even saying they're going to win the division. I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. That division is so weird right now. But the fact that they come out of week 5, 3-2, when they started the season 0-2, is a huge shift mentally for this franchise and its fan base. And I'm not gonna let them or let you make them feel bad about themselves for feeling good about the fact they've won 3 in a row and they're 3-2.
I mean, you've beaten the Cowboys,
Yep.
Raiders, and Commanders,
Yep.
and the latter
Commanders
two
on the road
by a combined 2 points. Like,
It's gonna
again. And yes, they are getting better. There's no doubt about that. If they weren't getting better by now, you'd have to think about moving that historic franchise, considering the pain that they've been through for the last 30 years and what that fan base has suffered through the Rex Grossman, Jay Cutler eras of this franchise. But that said, they're nowhere near contention.
No,
They're not even going to
don't
be
know that
close
yet.
to a playoff spot
I
this
don't know
year.
that yet.
They're not playing insanely good football. They've run into a couple of teams who tried to lose a little harder than them.
I'm going to tell you why they might be a playoff team. One of the beauties of being so suck-ass for so long as they have been. Here's their next 3 games. Here's their next 4 games. New Orleans, at Baltimore, at Cincinnati, home for the Giants. There's a lot of winnable games in that 4-game stretch. Don't say, there's also a lot of losable games in that 4.
I wasn't going to say losable.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say losable. I was going to say there's a lot of Bearsable games in that stretch.
If you believe that they are the old Bears, then I would absolutely agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that. But getting a win like they did last night, it's a turn of the corner. There's no getting around it. Because that's a game that, like I said, 9 times out of 10, they're losing that game. It'd be interesting to see what that Baltimore game in Week 8 looks like, by the way. What is Baltimore going to look like at that point? We've got NFL weekend leftovers to get to. You're going to want to stick around for that. Don't go anywhere. Coming up in 10 minutes, Brian Callahan out of a job with the Titans. Who could be next? Is there going to be another in-season coaching change? If so, who? Talk about that. And was it a good move by the Titans to fire Brian Callahan? I also want to get into the merits of that decision. Sam Yarnell, weekend leftovers from Week 6 in the NFL, because who doesn't love some leftovers? Yum. Start with the Steelers, who are 4-1. And yeah, I get it. It's the Browns. And it's a game you're supposed to win. And that's all wonderful. But Aaron Rodgers, steady as she goes, 21 of 30, 235, 2 touchdowns. And the Steelers just doing enough against a Browns team that, is throwing Dylan Gabriel out there with Shedeur Sanders backing them up. And here we are. I mean, the Steelers are 4-1 on top of the AFC North, and it sure feels like they have a clear path to a division title right now, Sam.
It does, but also it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, and their record is this lopsided, and that could only mean one thing. It's all going to horribly crash and burn at some point during this season. This is like Jason, we talk about it all the time, right? You and I even talked about it before the season. This is what Mike Tomlin does. He goes 9-8 or 8-9 because he can't go 8-8 anymore. So eventually, it's all got to come together. It's all going to come to pass. Do I believe that this is completely fraudulent? 1,000%. Let's go through the list of quarterbacks that the Pittsburgh Steelers have beaten, shall we? Justin Fields. They lost to Sam Darnold, so you can't put him on the list. Drake May, Carson Wentz.
Drake May's a good quarterback.
Dylan Gabriel. That is quite the reputable 4 quarterbacks to have beaten in this year's NFL to be atop a division. Now, listen,
12. They were plus 12, by the way, in point differential.
This is a team that is screaming fraud louder than anybody else can in the NFL right now, and that's okay. There's always one of those teams, right? They're like the Vikings from last year,
or 20,
right.
The 22 or 23 Vikings that lost to the Giants in the playoffs,
right? Sorry, gosh, I'm getting my years confused at this point. But that Vikings team that got out to that historic record, and they were competing for the number 1 seed, and then they lose to the Giants in the wild card round. That is just what this Pittsburgh Steelers team feels like to me. And that's fine. It'll make you, as an owner, it'll make you a ton of money still, and you'll get your rev share, obviously. And there's nothing really to complain about. And for Aaron Rodgers, all the media is still going to come to his practices, and he's still going to get to go on Pat McAfee's show and all that. So, he's probably happy as a, pig and
happy as a clam. By the way, no turnovers for the Steelers in that game too, which is and again, against a good Browns defense, that was something that I wanted to watch to sort of see what happened. Could they turn over this Steelers team? I'm curious to know what the Steelers are in the turnover margin this year. It doesn't feel like they've turned the ball over.
They are third best. They are a +7. You know what the best team is? It's the Chicago Bears.
Really?
The Bears and the Jaguars are both tied with a +8 turnover differential.
I'm telling you, man. It's so key. It's so key. Especially in a league where, as I keep mentioning and alluding to, that there is, all this parity that exists. It's just so important to not turn the football over, whether you're on the road or at home. So we got through the Steelers. They're 4-1. Sam still has them on fraud watch, and look, to some degree, I can understand why. I think you outlined it beautifully. One team that is not a fraud is Indianapolis, who just continues to win football games. And Daniel Jones just continues to, lead this team steady as she goes. And Jonathan Taylor continues to do things that certainly put us, in a conversation where he should, as much as we talk about the quarterbacks for MVP, he's a guy that should be in the MVP conversation with what he's done this year. 123 and a score for him in a win over the Cardinals, who just continue to find ways to lose games no matter who the starting quarterback is, Sam.
Yeah. For a second, I think my brain got a couple of wires crossed. I thought you were saying Daniel Jones needed to be in consideration for MVP, and that's why I made that crazy face. Listen, the Colts are great. I don't remember whether it was on this show. Actually, it probably wasn't on the show. We haven't talked about the Colts a lot, but my comparison for the Colts this season is that they are like the off-brand, the name brand, the Walmart brand, the Kirkland brand, Philadelphia Eagles from last year. They have this incredible run game. Their offensive line is producing and has analytics that produce at a historically high level. They have a couple of wide receivers who are about equal in talent. They've got a great tight end. And that defense forces a ton of turnovers. We'll say this about their Week 6 game. This was the first time I was concerned about their defense. You let Jacoby Brissett put up 27 points against you and throw for 320 yards. That's when I'm going to start to be like, all right, what's going on here? They weren't really able to get home against what isn't an insanely talented offensive line. First question mark of the season against the Colts defense popped up this week. But overall, this has been a banner year for Indianapolis. I mean, something changed in that building, Jason, and it's paying dividends so far through the first third of the season.
Oh, look, what changed is the decision to move away from Anthony Richardson. And that's and when you're talking about the most important position on the field, and you feel like you have stability now at the most important position on the field, from quarter 1 to quarter 4, I think it makes a huge difference. By the way, honorable mention, Carolina Panthers are 3-3. Nothing speaks to the parity in the NFL like the Panthers being 3-3. And I know they beat the Cowboys, and we all know what the Cowboys are, but still, Carolina 3-3 on the season. You're 6 weeks into the season, and you have something to be happy about if you're a Panthers fan. More football, coaching firings next. 10 minutes from now, it's some odds and ends. Sam pointed out something to me that kind of woke me up a little bit. What, the NBA starts next week, Sam? Is that what you said to me? Right?
Yeah, next week.
Nodding doesn't work on TV. Next week, right?
Yeah, I think it's next Thursday. I don't know.
So too. It's amazing. NBA season is already here. Can't wait to talk about it, and we certainly will. All right, news that broke right after we finished putting the show to bed on Monday, of course, is Brian Callahan out as head coach in Tennessee with the Titans, Sam. Do you like the decision? I never do. I don't get it. That team's in rebuild mode. You just went and got a quarterback. Why do you go get a quarterback, then fire the head coach? I think you're setting up your quarterback for failure when you do things like this, but I'm curious to get your thoughts.
Well, I think that we're noticing a trend, right? And it's been very clear and obvious over, I guess, the last 10 years. Gosh, it's been a long time, maybe even 15, to NFL franchises, that when you have a head coach who drafts a quarterback and doesn't have success, not immediately, but some semblance of success immediately, you have to move off of that coach, or you risk doing damage to that quarterback for the entirety of their career. We've seen it happen with multiple top. I mean, look at what Sam Darnold's going through. Look at what Baker Mayfield's going through. It is literally a testament to coaching and how that breeds talent and how that develops talent at the NFL level. Now, the trend that we're seeing is these coaches of these first overall, or I guess you could even expand that to top 5 quarterbacks, the leashes on them is getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. I don't know how the Brian Callahan firing makes me question Brian Daboll's employment status to the nines. But regardless, I'm a Brian Daboll guy, so I'm not against it. The thing is this. We're seeing these franchises realize very, very quickly, maybe even too quickly, all right, we need to get the right voice in our new quarterback's ear to make them a franchise guy so that their career isn't put into jeopardy 6 weeks into it.
I wonder if Jonathan Gannon's at risk. Given everything, you basically had ownership neuter the guy in front of the team. They basically cut his you-know-what off right in front of the team on this whole DeMarcado situation. And then you get all these losses. And I wonder if the Cardinals are going to move off of Jonathan Gannon. I don't know if he's going to be next, because the guy that feels like he's next in line is this guy, Mike McDaniel. Kind of feels like he could be next in line at this point. With everything that's transpiring down there, you've got a grumpy quarterback. And look, maybe they move off of everybody. Maybe they move off of McDaniel. Maybe they move off of Tua at the end of the year. Maybe they just move off of everybody in Miami. I got to tell you, though, you mentioned Daboll. And if it happened with him, the Giants wouldn't do it in season. They'd do it at the end of the year. I don't think that move's coming.
He's so safe. Yeah.
He's so
good.
safe now. Yeah. I think
he's really reversed all of the questions that people had coming into the season. And it's funny, it was like the one move from Russ to Jackson Dart changed everything.
Yep.
But no, I agree with you. I think that he completely has changed the narrative around his job. I'll say this though, because you made my mind start to wander with the Cardinals thing, because the Cardinals are an interesting example. Gannon was hired on the heels of the Cliff Kingsbury firing, which was less than 3 years ago at this point. When not only you said they neutered they neutered Gannon, Michael Bidwell neutered that entire organization the day that he fired Steve Keim and Cliff Kingsbury on the same day and didn't trade Kyler Murray. Like, that is when this whole thing came falling apart. That is when you can draw the line and say, yeah, that's where everything really fell apart for the Arizona Cardinals, and just look at what they are today.
By the way, all
right.
Go ahead. No, if you have something else, go
to
ahead.
the Dolphins, McDaniel's gone. He's as good as gone. If I'm him, I'm calling the UNC athletic department. Hey, Bubba Cunningham, you need a replacement yet? I don't think that's where he'll end up. I think he'll end up as an offensive assistant for some NFL franchise that'll go on to have copious success, probably the Kansas City Chiefs. That's probably how they'll redesign their offense and give Patrick Mahomes more success. It really makes me upset, but his job's as good as gone in Miami. And Tua Tagovailoa, they're going to do whatever they can, it feels like, to get off of him at this point.
Yeah, because Matt Nagy's going to get opportunities after this season. It definitely feels like Nagy's going to be somewhere, and I ain't going to be in Kansas City next season. It sort of has that feel to it. By the way, we were talking about a couple of things. One, the New England Patriots are in first place in the AFC East. I just wanted to point that out for a moment, which is just bonkers to think about. The other thing I want to point out is MVP voting as of Tuesday morning. Patrick Mahomes is your favorite right now, which seems just crazy to me. But right now, Patrick Mahomes is your favorite to win the MVP at plus 200. Followed by Josh Allen at 3-1, Baker Mayfield at plus 350. And then Drake May has the fourth best odds to win MVP right now at 10-1, Sam. But it's kind of like, and look, I do have to say, Mahomes is doing some really good things right now. Mahomes is playing really good football. And it feels like the Chiefs, and I said this yesterday on the show, so I don't want to go crazy with it again today. It feels like the Chiefs are slowly starting to put it together.
Yeah, their offenses for sure. Yes. I'll say this. The most surprising thing about all these numbers is Josh Allen's tanked. He was plus 125 to win this award before that game yesterday.
That's such an overreaction. It really is. Because to me, if you ask me right now who the favorite still is, it's Josh Allen.
I mean, you more than doubled his number?
It's not Baker. It's not Baker. It's not Patrick Mahomes. It's not Drake May. It's Josh Allen. It's still Josh Allen. Like that scene in Draft Day with Kevin Costner where he has the name written down on the piece of paper. It's still Josh Allen. All right, just about time to put the wraps on this baby for a Tuesday. Don't forget, tomorrow on the show, Cameron Maben slated to be here. Maybe some other surprises. Sam's going to work a Wednesday for a change. That's good news. Always love to see that. What'd you do with your Monday off, by the way? Anything you can tell us?
Work.
Oh, okay. I thought you were taking. I thought it was like Columbus Day. You were taking the day.
I don't take days off, Jason Page. Football season starts. I work Sunday to Sunday.
You don't have to tell me, dude. I get it. Trust me. If people could see right now, I live in this studio. That's it. This is where we live, Monday through Sunday right now. I want to get your thoughts on a couple of things in odds and ends. But before we do, a couple of reminders. If people haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe to the Sports Wrap with Jason Page podcast. It's available on all your favorite podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, Amazon. You name it, we're on all of them. You can also watch the show on Spotify, and you can also watch the show on our Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? The Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel has the show there Monday through Friday, commercial free. It has Sports Wrap shorts, which are huge right now. If there is news breaking and we're not able to get it into the show, it is going to be on SportsWrap Shorts. It's available on our YouTube channel, the SportsWrap with Jason Page YouTube channel, and SportsWrap Shorts also available wherever you get your social media, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on Insta, even Facebook. Check out, look for SportsWrap Shorts. And without any further delay on this Tuesday edition of SportsWrap, time for some odds and ends. Odds and ends, Sam. The end for Mike Shilton. Who saw this one coming? Deciding to step down. Said the sort of the mental wear and tear, the grind of 162 games and a lifetime spent in baseball was enough for him. He said he was happy with, what he had done and produced over the course of his career, the 91 seasons, the trips to the playoffs, and Mike Shilton decides to walk away from the San Diego Padres. AJ Preller had some nice things to say about him going out the door. Who will be the next head coach? Who will be the next manager of the San Diego Padres, Sam Yarnell?
I don't know.
Bruce
Dusty
Bochy?
Baker?
Bruce Bochy? I'll take Bruce Bochy for $1.
Yeah, they're into
Since
hiring
I'm his agent,
old guys.
I'm his agent, so I'm trying to get him a job.
I thought it was funny that Mike Schilt mentioned every reason for leaving except for the actual one, which is very clearly AJ Preller. I mean, yeah, if there was something that needed to tell you that every single bell and whistle is going off inside of the San Diego Padres front office, it should be this. Considering they've tried literally everything to build a contender and still can't do it, no matter what they try. This is, I mean, my expectation is this is the first in what will be a long off season of changes and probably a trend toward rebuilding if you're the San Diego Padres. Like, at some point you have to be realistic with yourself, and it becomes even more unfortunate that you just traded a top 5 prospect in baseball. Listen, there is arguably no franchise in more peril than the San Diego Padres are right now, especially after their manager surprisingly retiring out of the blue when nobody expected him to on a random Monday in October.
The Lions will be without Brian Branch for one game, Sam Yarnell, after his melee with the Chiefs that took place on Sunday night after that Sunday night football game where he went up to Patrick Mahomes went up to him to kind of give him a little gesture of, sportsmanship, I guess we could call it. And Branch didn't like it very much. Then he punches Juju Smith-Schuster in the face or jabs him in the face. A whole melee ensues. Branch gets one game for this unsportsmanlike conduct that the NFL is talking about these days. Thoughts on Brian Branch getting a 1-game suspension, Sam Yarnell?
Yeah, so the 1-game suspension is slightly warranted. I don't know. There's a little more that goes into this story, right? So it all stemmed from a block in the back that Juju Smith-Schuster committed on an inside run in like the middle of the third quarter, which was very much a dirty play. And then Brian Branch obviously gives him a piece of his mind after the game. My problem with this is the NFL has precedent and they are now not abiding by that precedent. I tweeted this out, right? We've seen this exact confrontation happen before. It happened 7 years ago between Michael Crabtree and Aqib Talib. Ironically, also an AFC West matchup, with this one having the Chiefs in it. In that matchup, obviously, Aqib Talib, Michael Crabtree getting the whole fight. Everyone remembers it. Both players get suspended. It was originally 2 games. Both appealed it down to 1 game. No reason Juju Smith-Schuster should not have been suspended for this. It really makes you wonder what the Fifth Avenue office thinks of the Chiefs and what kind of views they have of certain franchises in Kansas City. There's literal precedent against Juju Smith-Schuster not being suspended. No justification for him not being banned at least 1 game, probably 2, for his actions on Sunday night against the Detroit Lions. Completely ridiculous work by the NFL's front office.
And that's going to do it. Sam gets the final word on this Tuesday edition of the show. Wraps it up for us. Tomorrow, Cameron Maben slated to be on the show. One last thing before we go. Rest in peace, Craig Heist. A friend of the show, somebody that I've known for over 25 years, passed away this weekend. And I just wanted to give a special shout out to our fans in the DMV who know Craig Heist well. He was an institution when it came to covering sports there. That'll do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.